Davis trying to apply it, cannot. Angel Reese with 4 to shoot. Poole going for the dagger. You bet! Kim Mulkey knows the celebration is imminent.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always by the Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here at Old School Barbecue, ready to bring you another edition of Tigers Roar. You saw the intro. Kateri Poole puts the dagger in Iowa. Almost said Ohio. Iowa. Kateri Poole actually used to play for Ohio State, came to play against the Tigers, saw all the fans in the stands and how much emotion those Tiger fans gave to the Lady Tigers, and she knew she wanted to be a part of that. A year later, she's putting the dagger in the game. Coach Kim Mulkey, 4th championship, first in LSU history for the men or the women, only in year 2 of her reign here at LSU. Incredible game. It was an incredible weekend for Tigers fans. LSU also took on Tennessee at the box, took 2 of 3 games. LSU softball is rolling, and LSU football in their spring practices. We'll hear from Coach Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator for LSU, later on in this program. We welcome in the Bud Man. What a weekend it was.
Good to see you. It is Holy Week. We are taping on Tuesday, April the 4th. And look, I had a couple people that I got the April Fool's jokes in. But folks, can you believe it? Look, I admit when I'm wrong. Not many media people did. But Kateri Poole, what she had, the steps that she's made. Yep. So I apologize to that young lady. She stuffed it down my opinion's throat. But making 3 balls, playing big on defense, and doing a decent job. Of course, as we know, Flau'jae Johnson and Jazz Carson were not shooting the 3 very well. Hey, you remember that 1 for 27 with LSU and Miami? 9 for 12, the ladies in the first half. Yep. Jazz Carson makes 5, including about a 32-foot bank shot. They go in the half, 59 to 42. They struggled to score 50 against Miami, and both teams, as I said, 1 for 27. So 29 points in the fourth quarter against Virginia Tech. All of a sudden, the offense starts to work and get in sync and rhythm and make shots. Alexis Morris is still the straw that stirs the drink. Yep. She played fantastic last 2 games. But Bob Starkey, let's give Bob a lot of credit. He had a great game plan. Yep. He saw, and this was an area that LSU struggled with earlier in the year, dribble, drive, penetration. They didn't have help. They didn't pick up. They gave up a lot of layups. Can you imagine the defense, the offense, all of the improvements in the last month? But Bob Starkey had a great game plan instead of it. If Caitlin Clark is going to beat us, it's not going to be making layups or passing off to the bigs for layups. So great technical stuff. Yep. And going into the season, Kim Mulkey had 3, and Dawn Staley had 2. And we all thought it would be 3-3 after this season. Yep. I don't know one person that thought South Carolina would not win the national championship with women's hoops. Oh, by the way, most watched final game and college women's game ever, 9.9 million on an average, 12.6 in the peak, and now Mulkey's got 4 and Staley's got 2, and guess what? She is going to, no, she won't get content. She will continue to go in the transfer portal and recruit. It's going to be even better. So the first coach to win a game at the Final Four. But seriously, did you ever in your wildest dreams think she could do it in year 2, knowing that this team had some liabilities, and yet they all kind of went away at the end? They hit them, JP.
All right, now to answer your question, no, I did not think it was possible. I thought LSU absolutely played above their talent this past Sunday in that championship game. You got to tip your hat to Caitlin Clark, what she was able to do the entire tournament, really the entire year, averaged 32 points a game in the tournament. She was going to get hurt. She did finish with 30, but really limited the dribble drive, like you mentioned. She's going to get her 3s. It's unavoidable. She's a Steph Curry of women's basketball. But Alexis Morris did a great job, not only guarding her the entire game, But in that fourth quarter, she absolutely took over for the offense for LSU, hitting that mid-range shot.
6 for 6 in the fourth quarter.
She was incredible. And think about that story being dismissed from the Baylor team in the 18-19 season. Baylor goes on to win a championship. She kind of bounces around Rutgers, Texas A&M, and they kind of realizes she needs Coach Kim Mulkey. She talks to Coach. Her parents talk to Coach. There's an opportunity for her to transfer into LSU. And wow, could not have written a better storybook ending for the relationship of Alexis Morris, who declared for the WNBA draft today,
right,
and Coach Kim Mulkey.
And as we know, look, it's called tough love. And Nick Saban won a championship at LSU and has won 6 at Alabama. Kim Mulkey's won 3. Angel Reese was actually saying in media interviews in Dallas, you know, Coach Mulkey blamed me for the South Carolina loss. She got on me and said, you only got 4 rebounds, Angel. That's why we lost. Angel Reese never forgot that.
Yep.
And you go on and on challenging. She challenged her bench after they brought 0 to the table against Virginia Tech. So that all being said, I like the fact, and Brian Kelly's the same way. He had to handle a hot potato in Kayshon Boutte, and it is somewhat of a positive in that today's youth, which are totally different, you know all about it. You've got a son who's an excellent football player on the high school level. But, folks, you got to have a psychology degree because you got to know which one you can pat on the back and which one you can punch and get the best out of them. And that's what coaches try to do, get the best out of you, get more out of you than you even think humanly possible, and peak at the right time. What a story. And not only did it take Baton Rouge and the SEC by storm, but this has grown the game of women's basketball. They are going to get a monster contract because, quite frankly, it was a hell of a lot more exciting. Yeah. And I just, that men's, I described it like today. You go to a 5-star restaurant, the women, everything you want, salad, appetizers, hors d'oeuvres, great encore of a main dish and dessert. The men's Final Four, maybe an appetizer and a salad.
Yeah.
It paled in comparison to me, JP.
Yeah, no, I agree. Outside of the UConn fans out there who really enjoyed last night's men's championship game, I agree. The women's game was exponentially better than the men's game. Both entertaining, the star power, though. I mean, Flau'jae Johnson, Angel Reese, Bayou Barbie, Caitlin Clark, who's the Steph Curry of women's basketball. There was just more storylines, more excitement surrounding the women's game. And they certainly deserved that 9.9 million viewership.
That was the average.
Yeah, I mean, more than any NBA game this season, more than 2023 Sugar Bowl, more than 2023 Rose Bowl, more than the men's final. It was just incredible. And for Coach Kim Mulkey, back to your point, I think she's truly been blessed in a situation where she can be herself. Coming back home to LSU, she's an old school coach in a new school world where all these kids are soft. Yeah. That as soon as you tell them anything, they can hit the transfer portal with without a second thought. They're going to go to greener pastures, but that is a coach that will get in some behinds, and she showed it. Flau'jae Johnson, 2 quick turnovers on a Sunday championship game. Like she said in the press conference, you'll hear from Coach Kim Mulkey in just a little bit, but she said, look, we weren't singing Kumbaya in that huddle. I got into him, and I challenged him, and it certainly paid off.
And, of course, we had this question. We posed it, JP, on this show and all the other shows we do. Who would be the first to win a national championship? Would it be Kim Mulkey? Would it be Jay Johnson? And would it be, of course, Brian Kelly? And now she has set the bar mighty high. Once again, parade tomorrow, 6:30.
Yep.
P. Maravich Assembly Center, 7 o'clock. That goes on. LSU took 2 or 3. I was watching back and forth on the TV, the phone, and the tablet the whole time. Friday night, we had some collision, as most of you know.
Yep.
But, man, I got to be honest with you. It was a different mindset. Baseball's so slow. LSU is taking care of business and winning the first 2 games. But to see that game Friday night and then to see that Sunday afternoon game, we got to say it, folks. Nobody has ever seen anything of that magnitude. Bob Starkey, he's been there at all 6 Final Four appearances. Congrats to Bob. Simone Augustus and all that. He was telling all of the former stars, you set the table and helped us get here. Great things on that. Baseball still number 1. Play tonight against Nichols and then go and play at South Carolina at 6 Thursday night, 6 Friday night, and 11 a.m. on Saturday. First 2 digital network. that last game on Saturday, 11 a.m. on the SEC Network. And a big shout-out to Haley Bryant and Lady Gymnastics. Haley had to have a big score for LSU to get to nationals. Had a 9.975 on the last event. Should have been a 10, but they're stingy, more stingy for certain in the postseason.
Yeah.
But they had the tiebreaker, won the tiebreaker, so Jay Clark and the Lady Tigers have battled injuries all year long.
Yep.
3 stars out. Kudos to Haley Bryant. She is one class act. And, of course, softball went undefeated. I mean, it's just hard not to be happy if you're an LSU fan.
We have a lot more, including some more talk of LSU's national championship run. And let you hear, guys, from head coach Kim Mulkey later on in the next segment of Tigers Roar. First, take our first break of the evening. Before we do so, I remind you guys, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. If you miss anything in this episode or any episodes in the past, all the Tigers Roars are archived there for your viewing pleasure. So go check it out, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Quick break, and we'll be back with more Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Hey now, give it your best, but the broken lies to rest. Look up to the skies, I see desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and Buddy Songy from Old School Barbecue talking some LSU Lady Hoops, now the national champs in year 2 under Coach Kim Mulkey. Don't forget, she also signed the #1 recruiting class coming into next year before the national championship. Still has a lot of time in the portal, and a pretty good point guard also coming in next year. So LSU sitting pretty, looking forward.
Michaela Williams is the #1 player in the country. She is a lot bigger than people think. She is legitimate 6 foot. and has some excellent size and speed, really shoots the jumper well, but she makes other players better. How good is Vegas? You know what the over and under for Caitlin Clark was on Sunday afternoon?
30?
31.5.
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, folks. I thought Iowa was going to beat them. I thought Caitlin Clark was going to go off for about 40, but they did such a great job. They limited her dribble drive penetration. They helped and doubled, and she wasn't able to find a lot of the bigs down low. I've said this until I die. I'll be in the casket, and I hope by the time I'm dead, it comes to fruition. Can you please give the men and women 6 fouls? We don't go to the game. Sold out arena.
Championship.
LSU's got, look, Kateri Poole, Alexis Morris, Angel Reese, and guess what? Poche had 2 fouls, and they kept playing Poche.
LaDeja too.
LaDeja Williams. So my point is that we don't come to see the referees. Appreciate the job you do. Give them 6. And I know it's the difference between 48 minutes in the pros that have 6 and the women's and men's game that play 40 minutes. But really, I hope that gets implemented. I don't know if it will because it's nothing but common sense.
Yeah, this is not taking away anything from the LSU team. The officials, I felt, obviously, were way too tight on both teams. Credit to LSU's bench, who was far superior than Iowa's. But you do not give the absolute stars of the game 3 fouls in the first quarter. Caitlin Clark got that technical for absolutely nothing.
That was ridiculous.
And she was the biggest name in the tournament.
And guess what? And you get a technical, see, it makes the point for 6 even more. You get a technical, it counts as a personal, so she went from 3 to 4 right there. Look, I said it today, discretion. Use a little discretion. Even though they're not supposed to touch the ball, that was ridiculous. And that referee knows Caitlin Clark.
Right.
She knew when she teed her up. That could have impacted the game. So Iowa fans are salty. Oh, by the way, guess what, Iowa? You know what they said to the LSU baseball team earlier this year? Overrated.
Oh, that's right.
Hey,
I forgot
Caitlin Clark's not overrated. Now, if you want to promote the game, and if you really want to have a sellout crowd, now, I don't know if Iowa would come to Baton Rouge, and I don't know if Baton Rouge, LSU would go to Iowa, but could you imagine those two playing in the non-conference schedule next year?
Oh, they're going to have to play again. They're going to have to play again, whether it's non-conference
Get it, Kim. Come on, baby. We want to see it.
That's right. We want to see the rematch. Let's let you guys hear from head coach Kim Mulkey. Of course, there was a huge celebration after the game. Lots of the ceremonies, cutting down the nets, all the cell phones and social media going on, and it was an outstanding party that hasn't stopped yet in Baton Rouge. But here is the head coach of the women's basketball team, now national champions. Here is head coach Kim Mulkey.
40 minutes of the best basketball you have in your soul. That doesn't mean a perfect game. Just your best. Your best.
As today, your Fighting Tigers play for their first ever national championship as they take on the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And the national championship game is underway.
Now she's headed in the lane, spin move, turns, fires it to Williams, layup is good. Down to Johnson, dunks under, lays it in, and counts it a foul. Johnson got the ball left side, took it home, and LSU can take the lead. To Reese. Reese, spin move off the glass, 5-footer good by Reese. Morris into the corner, Poole, 3-ball right side, it's good. Kateri Poole seems to hit big threes postseason. Pass down low, it's taken. Stolke misses, it was blocked. I think Samaya got it. Johnson has it. Left wing Morris fakes a 3. Pass into the left corner, here's Carson for 3. Get it! Johnson will kick it to Poa. Wide open 3 left side. Poa hits it! LSU picked a heck of a day to bury him from outside. Now low Williams layup is good. Carson is playing the game of her life.
Yes, she is.
She's on the run. We'll get it right wing. Carson, 3 more. Yes!
What?
Oh my goodness!
What?
Desmond Carson! Not over backdoor pass. Knocked away. It's stolen by Johnson. Johnson heads to the bucket. Layup. Johnson, good! With 3, she will hand it to Carson. Fades away for 3. She baked it in!
Oh!
Carson falling away, baked it in! She can't miss!
You can't sit back and say, oh, we got to lead. You got to play like we did in the fourth quarter the other day, like we behind. We are behind!
Yeah, we're behind.
Okay?
Let's defend y'all. Let's go, y'all. Here we go, y'all. Here we go.
She's looking under the basket. Will bounce it to Morris. 6-footer off the glass and in. A great play out of the inbound.
Great execution.
Morris is going to dribble through traffic. She's down the lane. Going to dish to Williams. Layup is good. Williams' layup is good. Morris gets a screen. 12-footer left side. Good. Alexis Morris hits again. 5. Out to Poole. 3-ball. Right wing Poole. Yes! It's good! It's good! The Tigers are going to win it! It's 98-82. 3, 2, 1. Ball game is over! Your Fighting Tigers are national champions in year number 2 of the Kim Mulkey era. 102-85 the final.
Things do happen when you piece it together.
And your LSU Tigers are national champions for the first time ever in year number 48 and year number 2 of the Kim Mulkey era.
And that was highlights of this past Sunday's national championship game. LSU defeats Iowa 102-85. 102 points in the championship, Bud, man. Coach Kim Mulkey preached rebounding and defense the whole season, but going against Caitlin Clark, you know you had to fill it up.
Struggled to score 50 against Miami, and she even said it. This is how honest and straightforward Kim Mulkey said at halftime. I don't know if I'd be watching this. I'd probably turn it off. And then you see that game. What an incredible matchup. JP and I were talking, and I don't know if either one will play each other, but Carolina coming to Baton Rouge next year. Kim Mulkey's going to have more than a couple sellouts this next season, folks.
We'll let you guys hear from head coach Kim Mulkey. We kind of pulled an audible, wanted to show you the highlights, but here is head coach of the Lady Tigers, Kim Mulkey, for a post-game press conference this past Sunday. National champion, Coach Kim Mulkey.
With about 1:30 to go, I couldn't hold it. Got very emotional. That's really not like me until that final buzzer goes off, but I knew we were going to hold on and win this game. And I don't know if it's the mere fact that we are doing this in my second year back home. I don't know if it was the fact that I am home. I don't know if it was looking across there at my daughter and my grandchildren. I don't know if it was looking across at LSU. I don't know what it was, but I lost it. So that should tell you what I think about it. Very, very emotional and tears of joy.
We're going to go to our back on the left.
Over here, Coach. Matthew Bruni with on 3. You hold Caitlin Clark to 9 of 22 shooting, obviously 30 points, but what can you say about the job Alexis Morris did on her?
Probably what you want to write. You just want to give me, you want me to give you a little reinforcement, right? Because I'd say, what did you think? Alexis Morris guarded 2 of the finest women's basketball players that our game has. She did it against Amore with Virginia Tech, and she did it tonight. She didn't keep them from scoring. They're that good. But what she did is she made every shot they took a little bit maybe more difficult instead of easy. We knew Caitlin was going to shoot the ball. We knew she was going to make her threes. But we couldn't give her the 10 to 12 points she always gets off of layups. I don't know if I'm right, but I think she may have only gotten 1 inside the arc tonight. She got free throws, and she had those threes, but I'd have to break this stat sheet down. She didn't get many layups in the arc. And Alexis, she guarded 2 of the best our game has to offer.
We're going to go to our back and our right.
Chesson Boucher with WVLA in Baton Rouge. Coach Mulkey, all year long, you've said, we've only won ball games. We haven't won national championships. Now you hang a banner. Kind of what are the emotions for you, and also the embrace with Flage there on the court?
And I think that was with about 50 seconds to go, and coaches are hollering, get off the court. And I said, don't tell me what to do. I'm fixing to win another championship. Chess, I think back to my press conference when Scott Woodward introduced me as LSU's coach. And the number of people that were in that PMAC, the governor, the politicians, the people who watched me grow up. And I made a statement and asked everybody to turn around and look at those Final Four banners. Nowhere on there did it say national champion. And that's what I came home to do. So I'm relieved because I don't have to think about that anymore. To see after the ball game the former LSU player, Simone Augustus, crying and seeing all those people that really were a part of all those Final Fours but just couldn't get over the hump. To walk down the hall and see my former Baylor players that won championships with me waiting for me. To look in the stands and see my former Louisiana Tech players. It's emotional. It's emotional. And I am so happy. I really don't know how to explain it. Just a deep gratitude and happiness. And yes, it does matter being back home. I won championships at Louisiana Tech. I looked out there at those banners hanging at practice the other day here, and Baylor's the first banner that's hanging. And underneath there are 3 national championships. And then there's a school in between my Louisiana Tech 2 national championships. And I thought, Kim, you're getting old. You're getting old.
We're going to go to our back, Nancy.
Nancy Armour, USA Today Sports. Kim, back here. Right here. Somebody was asking Angel about this, that, the conversations that there are on Twitter, people are raging about
I have no clue, so you might as well go away from social media, because I don't know what y'all are talking about blowing up Twitter.
People are debating the refereeing. They're just talking about, and I'm just wondering, this is the stuff we normally hear of with the men's game. Is it good that the women's game has reached this point that these conversations are happening?
Look, are you basically asking me what I think of social media? I like y'all better than I do social media. So if you're on social media and hiding behind a computer, I don't like you. If you want to face me eyeball to eyeball and disagree with me on things, I respect you more. I know nothing about Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I have accounts. You will see that I have accounts. I don't touch those. My coaches do it for me. So I can't help you in any area of what was said. I looked at Alexis and go, what did she say? What is the blow up about? And quite frankly, I don't care. I waste no time on all that stuff. But it's the world we live in. But guys, I'm too old. I'm too old to worry about all that stuff. Now, if she does something or we're doing something that embarrasses the program, my coaches and my administrators usually help me address that. But to answer your question about the game, I love the fact that they told me our tickets were more expensive than the men's tickets. There you go. Talk to me along those lines. I like that. And you know what else? Taylor Swift's in town, and we still sold this place out. But give kudos to the 4 teams that were here. Those 4 teams' fan bases are unbelievable. You think about it. They showed up, and that's what you want to see.
I'm going to go to our right, Alexa.
Alexa Philippi with ESPN over here. Can you speak to what Jasmine was able to do off the bench, hitting those shots, and just what her journey has been like, especially within this tournament, from going to starting, coming off the bench, and being able to come through in the clutch moment like today?
Well, Jasmine wasn't benched for any reason other than I needed bigger bodies with some of the teams we played in the playoffs, and then I just kept that lineup because it was flowing better defensively. Jasmine may be the second best pure shooter that I've ever coached in my career. She can just light it up. And when she made those first couple, I thought, well, first of all, when we got in foul trouble and we had 3 starters sitting over there early in the first half or the first and second quarter, I thought, just keep it close till I can get them back on the floor. That's what's going through your mind. And then Poche hits a 3, Jasmine hits another 3, Samaya's in there battling. They won the game for us. The game was won, in my opinion, in the second quarter when those 3 young ladies, Samaya Smith, a freshman, last year Poche, a first-time transfer from junior college, and Jasmine Carson, her last and only year playing for me. When those guys got in there and they extended the lead and scored with Iowa, I thought, this is going to be a fun night. They didn't just keep it close. They went in and they attacked. And, guys, we scored 102 points. That has to be some kind of record. Okay? So much for my hollering defense and rebounding, right? That's a lot of points.
Piecing it together there. What does this do for the future? You know, you talked about when you got there, kind of selling the dream and getting people to buy in. Not a pressure question, but how big can you grow this?
Well, it doesn't get any bigger than this. We grew it, and I say this, you know this, Michael, y'all have been to the games. We grew this last year. And it was kind of scary because I kept trying to tame that monster. I said, we may be feeding this monster too early. But the crowds just kept getting bigger and bigger, and the student section, guys, is off the charts at LSU. And we're national champions in year 2. And we're not all seniors. We lose 4 outstanding seniors. But the core of your group are young and underclass, and you hope they stay. Lord knows every time you turn around, you got to deal with people in the transfer portal, but you signed the #1 recruiting class in the country. And that was before we won a national championship. We haven't even won an SEC championship. We're working. And when they come to visit LSU, I can't describe it to you. People love winners at LSU, fans off the charts. I can tell you, I don't want one negative thing written if we don't win a national championship next year, okay? Telling y'all in advance, they're hard to do.
And that was head coach Kim Mulkey, her post-game press conference from this Sunday's national championship game. You heard her final comment. If they don't win a championship next year, don't write anything negative because it's hard to do, bud, man.
I will tell you this. She will have more depth. She will have more shooters. She'll have more bigs. Just incredible, the work that she did. Her staff, they have it down. You see, how about the personalities that they've got on her staff? All of the dressing. Oh, by the way, that was the talk of the whole tournament. What was Coach Mulkey going to wear? And listen, this is what it's all about, working your brand. Angel Reese had 450K, has 450,000 followers. I forgot what his Instagram or which site before. Now she's got 1.1 million followers. Flau'jae's already a millionaire.
Yep.
Angel Reese is going to be a millionaire. Oh, by the way, WNBA pays about $200,000 a year. These young ladies in NIL are making big-time money, well-deserved, for the right reasons.
Yep.
But nobody's going to put pressure on her to win another one. But you know who will? Kim Mulkey and her staff. Because the more you get, the more you want. My comparison to her is a female version of Nick Saban. She may end up with 7 like Nick has when it's all said and done.
Before we finish talking about LSU's national championship run, got to give a tip of the hat to Jasmine Carson, a young lady that started most games for LSU this season. Got into the postseason. They were facing Michigan, who had a big backcourt, so Kateri Poole moves into the starter role. That stayed throughout the rest of the tournament. Kateri Poole got the start. Jasmine Carson scored 6 points in the last 3 games for the Tigers in the tournament, but when she got her shot, 5 for 5 from 3 in the second quarter. But, man, you heard Coach Kim Mulkey talk about it. That was a point in the game when LSU just wanted to keep it close with Iowa till the starters got back in. But, wow, what a shot of life Jasmine Carson provided for LSU. Went perfect from the 3, the buzzer beater right before halftime off the bank. When that went in, you knew everything was kind of going right for LSU. So shout out to Jasmine Carson for not giving up on her team or herself, staying in the game, and was ready for when her time was called, and certainly had her biggest game of her career on the biggest stage.
By the way, you may have missed this, but Bob Starkey, who did tell the ladies, I will dance in the locker room if we win the national championship, he did an excellent version of the gritty. Did you see it?
Well, they had the guy who invented the gritty come teach the whole team how to do it, so it made him proud. I like that.
But here's the thing. If you don't believe in deja vu and karma, he told this story. Sue Gunner loved crispy bacon. At breakfast on Sunday morning, there's a sign, crispy bacon. Bob Starkey says, I knew Sue was with us from that moment. Simone Augustus, Sylvia Fowles, all of the Lady Tigers, Sue Gunner, all of them that have been a part of it, they are a part of this. But look, she's done a great job of bringing back the former players, and it's just going to get better. You're talking about a program now that will continue, and I guess what, a couple, 3 sellouts this year? They could have 7, 8, or 9, especially if they get a better non-conference schedule.
Another quick break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back, talk some LSU baseball and LSU spring football. You don't want to miss it. So come back and join us. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Caught spiders.
Premier Pest Services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche and the Bud Man, Buddy Songy from Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come check it out if you haven't done so. Great food at old school prices. Come check out the lunch special, the Boss Hog Pulled Pork Sandwich. Comes with 2 sides and a drink, and it is phenomenal. Come check it out, Old School Barbecue. Talking some LSU spring football, Bud Man. Practice has been underway. Expectations brewing here for Coach Brian Kelly in year 2. Was able to do some things last year, beat Alabama for one, revamp the fan base and get them believing again behind a very talented team. But year 2, a opponents know what to expect. Jaden Daniels is not going to take anybody by surprise. And you know you guys got some great feet. Don't let him outside the pocket. You lose Keyshawn Boutte, Jare Jenkins, a couple guys on the outside. Lose some seniors, including a cornerback that had a great pro day, which he didn't get invited to the combine, so he kind of wanted to.
Jarek Bernard Converse running 4.4.
4.42, yeah, it's incredible. So anyway, spring practice underway. Offense knows that it's going to play a big role in this year's team. Coach Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, we'll let you guys hear from him in just a couple minutes, but he's had a lot of good things to say about both Jaden Daniels, the tight end room, and the wide receiver room, and how they're progressing in the offseason.
Jaden Daniels is now 6'4", 205 pounds, and you can tell he has put on some muscle. They are working every day consciously to get him to confidently look and see the field better and throw the football down the field. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, as we know, is about 7 or 8 pounds bigger and stronger in the upper body. Ricky Collins, of course, getting the reps with the 3 that Walker Howard didn't want to settle for. Walker's doing good over at Ole Miss, so you might see him on the field in the coming years. That being said, tight ends, you got to have some depth. But, JP, so many players missing 6 or 7 offensive linemen on scholarship, 2 running backs on scholarship. I say this every week we talk. You're not going to see much of, if anything. I don't know if they'll have a scrimmage or what, but the spring game is not going to be much. But look, about 40% of the team not out there. So a lot of these guys getting a lot of reps. Once again, a lot of new faces, new numbers.
Yeah, you got defensive linemen have to fill in an offensive line spots just so they can run practice. Coach Mike Denbrock did say that Coach Brian Kelly has done an excellent job kind of scripting out every aspect of practice where, you know, you're concerned about the numbers, but you're still getting in your work. And you talk about the offensive line, the running back spots. They will come back, get healthy, but right now it's really thin. We'll let you guys hear from offensive coordinator. Here is Mike Denbrock of the LSU Tigers here on Tigers Roar.
So let me just, I'll start by kind of just talking about some of the things that are going on with us offensively, if that's okay, and then we'll take some questions. So proud of starting with the winner that we had. Overall, I thought the guys have been killing it in the weight room. I think their commitment level is at an all-time high. I've loved the gains that we've made both in our twitchiness and speed development, as well as our overall strength of what we're trying to get accomplished in the weight room. So that's been incredibly positive. You take that into kind of getting ready for spring ball and meeting time and things like that. The guys have been incredibly attentive. I think, you know, year one is a lot about getting to know each other, trying to figure it all out, where the pieces fit, who goes where, all those kind of things. And I think what gets lost in translation sometimes is a little bit of the detailed work that it takes to be really elite at what you're doing. And so we've been able to kind of get more into digging into the details of every single position, whether that's in the passing game or running game, and kind of reteach it, but them having another level of understanding, if you will, from just kind of assignment football to understanding how we can really push this thing to the next level. And that's really the goal, I think, for us offensively. I think there was, as the season went along last year, I felt like we grew up a little bit, like we got better, we gained momentum. We've got to pick up on that, and it's got to be really, really important for these guys to understand that we're in a position, I believe, offensively, to kind of step up and really help this football team be really, really elite. So with that, I'll open it up to what you guys might want to talk about.
Hey, Mike Wilson, Alexander from The Advocate. To expand on that, maybe, where specific areas offensively do you want to evolve here as you head into year two?
Yeah, I think, you know, it starts with, well, there's nowhere we don't want to evolve. I guess that's the easiest answer to your question. But I think in particular, when I speak about like digging into the details better, you know, spacing in the passing game, understanding line movements and stunts and different things that people are doing defensively to try to take our run game away from us. You know, being able to block movement up front, I guess, is the easiest way probably to explain that. We got to do a better job with that. And then in particular, passing game wise, just it's so critical that everybody understands, where their airspace is in what we're trying to do, so that it puts the multitude of stresses on the defense as we possibly can, so that we can get people in space and get them the football in their hands. And then there's been kind of an emphasis, at least from our part in the passing game, to get more catch and run balls, if you will. So running a little bit more scheme-wise, where we can get the ball in our skill guys' hands with their ability to turn upfield instead of have their back to the goal line, catch the ball and be able to kind of burst into open space. That hopefully, if we understand spacing, we can help create.
Hey, Coach. Pat Timlin, NBC 33, Fox 44 here in Baton Rouge. I was curious, how are the new tight ends looking, Jackson and Mack, and what have you kind of known or seen from them in the early stages of camp?
Yeah, incredibly pleased with those guys. They're the old saying is true of any, especially early enrollee. They're drinking through a fire hose and having a hard time keeping up mentally with what we're doing right now, but that's natural. But as far as ability and what I think they're going to be able to lend to our overall effort as a total offense, moving in a really positive direction. And they're both, I think, going to play some factor in what we do in the fall. So it's exciting to see those guys develop.
Yeah, hey, Glenn West with Go247. Just if you could expand on them a little bit, just what does each of them do well, and just kind of how do you see them fitting into what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I think Mac is probably a little bit farther along physically in that, I think he can give us that physical presence that we lacked at times in the run game a year ago, so he can give us some good things in there. It's not that he can't run and catch the ball, but I'd say right now that's his strength, where he's going to be able to kind of leap in front of the crowd, if you will, and help immediately. Jackson is a guy who probably needs a year in the weight room to really get physically in a position where he can block the defensive ends that we have to face in this league. But he is way up on the scale as far as running and catching the ball and making plays in space. So I think there's a good yin and yang and a complement to those two guys that can obviously lend some support to Mason Taylor and some of the other guys in the room and give us a pretty dynamic group in there.
A follow-up on Jackson, I presume you probably recruited him at Cincinnati, so how was that decision getting him to come here and play for you guys at LSU?
Yeah, it was, when things happened the way they happened and there was a change, obviously, in what was going on at Cincinnati, it gave us an opportunity to kind of crack the door open a little bit and have a conversation. And we were at the point where we had decided that we needed to take a second tight end in last year's class, and it kind of timed up almost perfect where he was available and we were in need, and it was great to already have that relationship established with the family and know him inside and out and what he could bring to the program if we got the opportunity to get him here.
Shea Dixon with On3. I know he's not here right now, but your thoughts on Kamorian Pimpton and what kind of player he is and what he could be maybe even in year one.
Yeah, he is in the process of just killing it in shot and discus, which speaks to his explosiveness as an athlete. There's a lot of things there that I can't wait to get my hands on. That's probably the best way to describe it. We'll see exactly where he is. We've been sending him material and things like that, trying to keep him caught up with what we're doing install-wise, so he doesn't feel like he's falling behind. But there's definitely some situational football and some things like that I think you're going to see him in his abilities that he brings to the table help us in some of those critical moments.
Hey, how you doing? Adam Ney with WWL TV in New Orleans. Just wondering, what's the next progression for two guys, Jaden Daniels, number one, and then Mason Taylor, number two? What's the next step for those two?
Yeah, let's start with Jaden. I think, Jaden's ability to push the ball down the field consistently, I think is something that we've worked very hard on this spring. He's worked on it over the winter. He's worked on it even when he's been away from here. So we want to be a threat in the vertical passing game. And, that takes some aggressiveness at the quarterback position. And we want him to step into that role and not be afraid to kind of let it fly. So we've encouraged him to do that. He's done an unbelievable job here early in the spring. What do we practice? What is this, 7, 6? Anyway, about halfway through. And really, really like the progress that we've made there. And obviously we've got some dynamic guys that can go get it on the outside. So that hopefully bodes well for us being a little bit more explosive offensively. That's going to be a big key for us. Mason, I think, with his opportunity to kind of have another year in our program and in the weight room in particular is going to help him become a more complete player. Where he can help us in any down and distance situation. He's going to be what he was in the passing game as far as a very viable target for the quarterback and kind of somebody that he knows he can count on. But he's also going to be able to develop himself into a physical presence that can handle some of the duties that we need in the run game.
That was offensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers, Mike Denbrock, in year 2. Looking forward to a improved offense for the LSU Tigers and a lot of expectations moving forward for the LSU team. Go ahead, Bob, man.
I was just going to say, Matt House met with the media today. We'll have that for you in the next coming Tiger Roar shows.
That's right. Another quick break. Come back, talk some LSU baseball, and wrap it up. This has been Tigers Roar.
Taste the feeling.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, gang. Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
You could be driving. Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Don't forget, if you missed any of this episode or any episodes in the past, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're at the page, go ahead and click subscribe, click the like button, and help us out with the algorithm. We certainly appreciate it. Time to talk some LSU baseball, bud, man. Currently sitting at 24-4, 6-3 in the SEC. Just hosted the Tony Vitalo Volunteers this past weekend. Thursday, Friday, Saturday games. Thursday, Paul Skeens, absolutely phenomenal once again. Up around 100 miles an hour the entire game. 12 strikeouts, but man, when he's on the mound, LSU always has a great chance to win.
Record-breaking game. I don't know. I'm waiting for Todd Politz, who is the LSU stat guy extraordinaire. I think he threw more than 15 pitches that were 100 or higher miles per hour. Is the Junks gun ramped up a little bit? Who knows? But he has been phenomenal. Dylan Cruz, 543. leads the country in average and all kinds of things. Oh, by the way, quick stats, Rafe Rhymes was around 500 most of the year, ended up setting a single-season record at 431. I put you on the spot this Tuesday. Does he break the record? And, oh, by the way, Todd Walker, cumulative average in 3 years, 396. But A, does he break Rafe Rhymes' record? And B, does he hit 500 this year?
I think he does break Rafe Rhymes' record. I don't know if he'll get 500. That is a huge number, especially when the dog days of summer start wearing on your body. It starts getting hotter, pitches start getting looser. I do think he breaks the batting average record, though, by Rhymes. And Rhymes is an LSU legend, but Dylan Cruz, I mean, that guy is Mr. College Baseball.
Could be the first time ever that LSU has two players drafted in the top 5, Cruz and Skeens. Obviously up there. Everybody loves them. They do it the right way on the field and off the field. And you got to look, Gavin Dugas always coming up with a big home run. Got a ton of talent. And that all being said, got to find one more weekend starter. Thatcher Hurd did not get anybody out. They lost that game by a football score of 14-7. Once again, Thursday at 6, Friday at 6, Saturday at 11 a.m. And next week, they host Kentucky. South Carolina and Kentucky, both in the top 10, having fantastic years this year.
That's right. South Carolina currently ranked number 6. They'll face them this weekend. But Nicholls State tonight, Tuesday, as we tape here on April 4th, got the opportunity to do a couple Nicholls games out in Thibodaux in the truck. And they're a decent team, and they have a pretty good following. But obviously LSU going to handle business tonight. Looking forward to the South Carolina series, Bud, man. What does LSU have to do to not only win the series, but go ahead and sweep the Gamecocks?
I don't know. On the road, I think I'd take a little meatloaf queued up on Monday with 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Skeens on Thursday this week, Ty Floyd on Friday, and then what are you going to do? Chase Shores and Griffin Herring, the next freshman phenom, comes in here, South Lake, Texas, 6'2", a Diet Coke and Amanda Sausage po' boy short of 200 pounds, throwing 95, got some nasty stuff.
That's from the left.
He's got the poise. He is ready. Jared Jones, Brady Neal, all these freshmen, they're not playing like freshmen, JP.
That's right. Also talk some LSU softball, currently sitting at 31-6, 4-5. The SEC currently ranked 12th in a bunch of the polls. Coach Beth Arena has her squad playing pretty well right now, man.
Allie Kilpoen, of course, is the veteran on the pitching staff. Sydney Berson, a freshman phenom, has been fantastic. Pleasance has been banged up a little bit. But Georgia Clark, all the ladies, look, bottom line is a lot of people think that they want to see if they get to OKC this year. Peaking at the right time, but, man, in softball, you got 2 dependable, reliable pitchers. You can make hay.
Just about a minute left here in Tigers Roar. Not to put you on the spot, Bud, man, with Coach Kim Mulkey wins in year 2. Does this put a little more pressure on Coach McMahon on the men's side to do better than 14th in the SEC this upcoming season?
No doubt about it, but I think still Matt McMahon gets a couple years, but he has got to do a better job of attracting great players from the transfer portal, keeping what he has already that can be worthwhile bringing back, and then having a great recruiting class.
We certainly appreciate you watching this episode of Tigers Roar. Of course, we want to give a shout-out to the Lady Tiger Gymnastics team who did a great job reaching the semis. Going to be in contention with that national championship. Coach Jay Clark doing a great job. Dealt with a lot of injuries all season, so doing certainly a great job keeping his women locked in.
They're in the final 8. That will be a week from Thursday, so April the 13th. And once again, you hope that they can hit their landings.
Remind you guys, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're on the page, click the like button, click the subscribe button so you're notified every time we post something new here on Tigers Roar. We'll give a shout out, not the Joe Burrow wave. We'll go with the...
How about that? See you next week, everybody.